Juris Vodcast with Scott Pierce.
What are you allowed to say on American television and radio? The Supreme Court is going to weigh in on this topic in a case called FCC versus Fox. The FCC put Fox and the other networks on notice of their apparent liability for violating new FCC policies on obscenity as a result of some bad words that were broadcast by the network. Fox took the FCC to court. CBS and NBC intervened. The Second Circuit struck down the FCC's policies, but it's important to recognize that it did so based on administrative law principles, not because of free speech. The Second Circuit held that the FCC's rule changes were arbitrary and capricious under the Administrative Procedures Act. Of course, the First Amendment issues are the most important and interesting ones. Broadcasting in America is very different today than was in the 1970s when the key First Amendment cases on these points were litigated. At the Supreme Court, the FCC may have to justify its policies well enough to satisfy strict scrutiny, although it argues that it only needs satisfy the intermediate scrutiny standard. The Supreme Court could decide this case without reaching the free speech issues, since the Second Circuit's decision explicitly avoided touching on the First Amendment. If that's what happens, the FCC will have to go back to the drawing board and start over. For decades, the FCC and broadcasters have had a reasonably smooth working relationship on indecency issues. The problems presented in this case have arisen as a result of actions taken by political appointees within the FCC. The Supreme Court should affirm the Second Circuit's decision, narrowly. The FCC is an out-of-control government agency. Administrative law can solve these problems. This is not really a free speech case.
Juris Vodcast is a production of Nuclear Podcasting. Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives.